This is Kelso Surgeon. Thank you for joining me for another day at my College of Advanced Sports Handicapping. On this report, talking about Thursday night football and Friday night football and college basketball. You know, I've always tried to be honest with my clients and potential customers. You know, I just tell the truth. You know, when you lose, there's no place to run and hide. I mean, if you lost, you lost. I mean, nobody wants to hear any excuses as to why or what or whatever. And I'm always forthright about that. I'm also forthright when I'm winning. I want you to know that too. And as some of you know, I went through a rough stretch for about 10 days a couple of weeks ago in football. But I said at the time, you know, I believe in what I do. I do the same thing over and over again every single day, and it works, period. Yes, I might have a losing streak, but I might also have a winning streak. And I'm on one right now that I want to talk about. You know, here's what's happened over just the past few days. On Sunday, I won my 100-unit NFL Game of the Month with the Seattle Seahawks, 41-20 over Minnesota. Came right back on Monday night with a 50-unit winner on Carolina, and also had a 10-unit play on the total in that game. Then followed that up on Tuesday night with a 25-unit play with Buffalo and its 44-7 blowout win over Miami of Ohio. Came right back Wednesday night, last night, with a 50-unit winner on Northern Illinois. Its 35-17 victory at Toledo. Tonight, coming back with a 50-unit play, a side and total parlay on the New Orleans Saints Atlanta Falcons game. Confident I'll take down the money all the way across the board. This is an opportunity to go 3-0, a 20-unit winner on the side, a 20-unit winner on the total, and then that 10-unit parlay on the side and the total. I do intend to get the cash. In the colleges tonight, I have two plays. Releasing to my Chairman's Club members a 25-unit play on the Rutgers Central Florida game. You can see that one on ESPN. An important game for both teams, a very strong opinion. Releasing it at 25 units. Also a 10-unit play to my Best Bets Club members on the UNLV at Air Force game. And I might point out something about that game. Not only is it important that you understand it's a 10-unit winner, but it illustrates some of the hazards that we face during the football season at this time of the year, and that's the weather. You know, UNLV, I live in Las Vegas, so I know what the weather is like. UNLV practicing and living every single day with clear skies and sunshine, temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s. Beautiful, beautiful time of the year here. Tonight in Colorado Springs, they will be playing in 9-degree temperatures, 15-mile-per-hour winds, and snow. Now, I'm not saying that means UNLV will win or lose, or that Air Force will win or lose, but to point out that weather becomes a major factor at this time of the year, and you must check it out. I looked at the weather map this morning as I'm preparing my games for Saturday. All over the country, there is potential for inclement weather that will impact the outcome of games. Pay attention to the weather. Do not bet a single game until you understand what the weather forecast is at game time and what that might mean to the outcome of the game for the straight-up winner or the point spread winner or whatever. Weather is a big factor now, and you must pay attention to what's happening. So once again tonight, Thursday night, a 50-unit side and total parlay on the Saints-Falcons game in the NFL, a 25-unit play on Rutgers and Central Florida, a 10-unit play on UNLV at Air Force. Now, on Friday night, we have Navy at San Jose State, releasing that as a 15-unit bankroll builder for Saturday. Have a very strong opinion on that game. It's one of these things where San Jose State's a 2-point favorite, and probably deservedly so. Navy always comes to play, but I think I have that one figured out too. Now, you know, in basketball, I've also been winning. You know, when Wichita State crushed Tulsa 77-54 last night in Tulsa, it was another 15-unit winner for my Best Bets Club basketball players. And you know, my Best Bets Club is 7-1 so far this week. 7-1. And I intend to keep right on winning. I've got 2 games up tonight, both of them underdogs, and I intend to take down the cash with both of them. And for those of you who are a little skeptical about my play with underdogs, I used probably 30% underdogs, maybe 40% underdogs. And the last big one I got was Indiana State winning outright at Notre Dame this past Sunday. Underdogs cover, believe me. Underdogs win straight up, believe me. And it's one of these things that you just have to be very careful when you start laying the points in every single game. And I know people love to bet favorites. That's all right, but that's not the way you do business. There are underdogs that can cover the number and underdogs that can win outright. Tonight I have 2 underdogs for my Best Bets Club service. You can get both of them for just $15 charged to your major credit card. And remember that all selections that I release are on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. Now let's talk a little bit about some issues that are a little bit maybe off the beaten path. But I've said all along that in the Florida State situation involving freshman quarterback sensation Jameis Winston, that this whole thing would be swept under the rug and that nothing would come of these sexual assault allegations that supposedly involve him. And keep in mind, they're allegations, and I said supposedly. I didn't say that they did involve him or whatever. But, and I've contended that the cover-up would just absolutely make it all go away, because in Tallahassee and many other cities in this country, when a star such as this guy, the man who can win the Heisman Trophy, the man who can take you to the national championship, if he does something wrong, everybody gets paid off and everybody goes home. Well, this blew up last night. And by the way, it's obvious that for the past year, when the Tallahassee Police Department was handed this by the campus police at Florida State University, this particular case, that it has been swept under the rug, and everybody was hoping it would stay there. According to the Orlando Sentinel, where I got my information today, the police department in Tallahassee advised the lawyer of the alleged victim not to pursue the thing. Football's big in Tallahassee, and Jameis is big in Tallahassee, and who wants all the trouble that goes with it? Well, the district attorney's office finally took a DNA test of Jameis Winston, and it really turned things around, because on the girl's clothing who alleges the sexual assault was Jameis Winston's DNA. What it all means or where it goes, I don't know, but it now becomes much more difficult for anybody to cover up what has happened here, and a full investigation will be conducted. It's a tremendous a problem for Florida State, which looks like it's probably the best football team in the country, undefeated, on its way to the BCS championship game, and living under the cloud that Jameis Winston may not be with the team. The rules at Florida State University are simply this: if you're a student there and you are indicted or accused or arrested for a felony offense, you are immediately suspended from school and all activities. You better keep your eye on this. This could change overnight. I don't know what Florida State is going to do, but it certainly is going to play an impact if Winston is suspended. And I'm not saying that he did anything. I'm just reporting what I've heard and what I read today in the Orlando Sentinel. But it doesn't look good. Now, this weekend in football, we've got a lot of trap games, and I cover that in great detail in my newsletter, which is on this website right now, and I think that you would benefit as a handicapper by reading it. We have some real trap games, 10 of them to be exact, and a trap game in this week of the season is one that meets a few requirements. Number one, the team must be an enormous favorite. Number two, it must be playing a difficult game next week, or an arch rival next week. Now listen to some of these numbers. Florida State's a 56-point home favorite over Idaho. Looks like it could score 100, but the Seminoles play Florida next week. Georgia Tech, a 52-point home favorite over Alabama A&M. Hosts arch rival Georgia next week. We have Ohio State, a 35-point home favorite over Indiana. plays at arch rival Michigan next week. We have South Carolina, a 34.5-point favorite over Coastal Carolina, and plays its biggest rivalry game of the year next week against Clemson. Stanford, 31.5 over California, hosts Notre Dame next week. Last but not least, Southern California, a 54-point favorite at Colorado, and is home to arch rival UCLA next week. All I'm saying is that when a team is in this situation, a giant favorite, and all these teams are, playing a very difficult or very important game the following week, are all open to a backdoor cover. Lay the 56 with Florida State if you like, because the figure says you can. The circumstances says you might be doing the wrong thing. It's one of these things that every game must be considered by itself. There's nothing that that we can add that would make it any easier to handicap games with the big numbers. But that's the story. Once again, check out the newsletter on this website. It's loaded with information that'll help you pick a winner this weekend. And just remember that I'll be back here on Saturday morning with my Saturday-Sunday report for colleges and NFL and in basketball. And by the way, 7-1-1 in 50-unit college basketball plays this season, and we'll definitely have 3 consecutive days of them, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Once again, I thank you very much for watching this video. As I said, I'll be back here Saturday morning again. In the meantime, you can get all of my selections on this website or toll free at 1-800-755-2255. All major credit cards accepted. Thank you and good luck.